All right, Chad, you're on. You are live.
I'm live?
You're live. What's the weather report in Munster this week?
You know, we had a 90-degree swing this week. We went from -4 last Tuesday to 86 this Tuesday. So things thawed out in a brilliant fashion.
That doesn't cause manufacturing issues at all, does it?
No. I mean it's great. It was fun. So we right now it's a balmy 56 and kind of drizzling outside in Munster, Texas. So it's great. It's a perfect day.
Woohoo!
What's it like in Denton?
Denton is a miserable 54.
T-shirts.
T-shirt weather.
Eddie, you been working out? Did you do a bunch of push-ups before the show?
This dude is.
Yeah, I got like two. I got two in.
He had 2 rounds of 70.
2 rounds of 70.
Did
Man.
one for every year of his age. Not dog.
No and no.
You're a little slow on the draw there, Eddie.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question for you.
Yep.
What do you call a dog with no legs?
A dog with no legs.
Leslie says, "Who cares?"
Rough?
You know what? Leslie's right. It doesn't matter what you call him; he's not coming.
Oh,
So who cares?
who cares?
Thank you, Leslie. That was not planned, by the way. That was 100% real.
Nice. I was thinking of the ones I know about Matt, and there's another one.
What? Why are teddy bears never hungry?
I heard teddy bears.
Come on,
I
Eddie.
don't know.
They're stuffed.
They're stuffed. They're always stuffed.
Oh. Man, you guys are full of jokes today.
We are. And we're gonna start off with a question.
Full of.
Wayne's dogs likes our food, but sometimes gag on the small pieces. It is also cut down on their shedding, which is awesome. So lots of good stuff. Wayne, one of the best ways you can keep them from gagging on the small pieces is actually use a slow feeder, or you can make your own. We should do that.
We
on
have
Man
talked
versus
about
Dog
that.
Food.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that. So you get a piece of PVC pipe, like I don't know, 3-4 inches, and put some caps on it. Drill some holes in it and let the dog push it around and eat it one by one.
It's kind of hard to find PVC pipe in these parts nowadays, Mitch.
I don't know, man. There was lots of busted pipes last week. I bet we can go to the scrapyard and find all we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find all the scraps you want.
Well, we've got some news to share with everybody on this man versus dog food that could be fairly significant for some people.
Hey, before we go though, I would like to ask Wayne, what kind of food are you feeding your dog?
The best.
That's cut down on the shedding. Are you adding salmon? Or are you getting the grain-free salmon? What are you doing? Or is it the ocean fish? I know that there's a lot of ways that we could help with that problem. I just wondering what you're doing, Wayne. Is that okay?
Yeah, I wonder what Wayne's doing too, and I bet we could figure it out.
I don't want to assume that I know what he's going to say.
Well, what would happen if you did?
Right? Yeah. There's that thing.
What? I don't. Okay.
Okay. And then what was your question?
I don't know that I had a
Sorry,
question.
I'm totally derailing this.
Yep, Eddie just killed all momentum. So thanks for that, Eddie. So now we have no choice but to go to Thank You Thursday.
Oh.
And then we'll come back with some news.
Thank you, Thursday.
All right, Chad.
Thank you, Thursday. With Chad.
All right,
Hi,
Chad,
guys.
what you got?
So we're going to go all the way to West Palm Beach, Florida.
That's, I believe, this way.
Yeah. So I bet the weather was pretty nice in Florida all last week. And probably this week as well.
If you like sunshine and rain.
Yes, the Sunshine State.
Aren't you going somewhere? You're going that way, aren't you, Mitch? next week?
We're going to check out Alabama.
Alabama?
Maybe
What?
maybe you need to pick a Thank You Thursday in Alabama that I can deliver.
Ooh, that'd be big.
Or maybe I need to change my travel plans and go wherever you're sending in Florida.
Yeah, I'll just go to West Palm Beach. That's
You'll
fine.
just go to West Palm Beach. You'll hand deliver.
Yeah.
I think that's easier.
Yeah.
All right. So West Palm Beach. This person has they have the large bundle on auto ship. So the large bundle is our ancient grains chicken, our chicken liver, and our heart strong. They also get the meatballs, both the beef and the chicken on auto ship. So there's a couple of big boxes here going to West Palm Beach, Mitch. I don't know if this is one you want to hand deliver.
Yeah, the minivan is going to run out of space quick.
No. The only thing that they don't have in this large bundle, all that kind of good stuff, they don't have any elk patties.
But they do now.
They do now. They got 2 bags of the elk patties.
2.
What? What a deal. That's a
2
good
bags.
Yeah, that's definitely not fitting in the minivan now.
Not fitting in the minivan at all.
Hey, but you know what, Mitch? If you broke down on the side of the road, you'd have something to eat.
I would. That would give me at least like 9 days.
Hey, so last week, Chad, when it was cold, did you just put the meat out in the street and let it freeze dry? Is that how that thing works?
Oh, man, it was great. We could have, for sure. The vacuum part of it is a little difficult out on the street.
Yeah.
But, hey, you know, the guys that normally load the freeze dry or load the trays in the freezer, they were right at home last week. They're like, man, this is
Probably a little warmer in the freezer, wasn't it?
it was a little warmer in the freezer.
Yeah, that's the first time everybody wanted to go in there.
So Wayne said his dogs are feeding the chicken in the green bag. He's got a Great Dane, a Boxer, and a Labrador. They all tend to gag on the single pieces. They really don't eat too fast. So I think we have other good news today because I believe we made more large breed, right, Chad?
We made more large breed.
It's back in stock.
It's back in stock.
All right, we got to turn that on. Did you turn that on, Eddie?
I have not turned that
Eddie's
on.
going to turn that on. So large breed's back in stock. So Wayne, I would recommend checking out our large breed. It's a much bigger kibble. So it's about the size of a quarter, and the dogs really have no choice but to chew it. So that could be a really good option for you. I encourage you to check that out. Hopefully that is something that works for you.
I thought I had some large breed up here, but I don't. I'd show some.
I was looking for a quarter.
You are a large breed.
Hey, come
We're
from
going to
good
solve the
stock.
problem.
That's right. So we've got some news. We want to fill everybody in on our grain-free duck and rabbit. So as most of you know, the restaurants across the country have been shut down for the better part of 12 months. They've started to open back up, but during that time period, there was much, much, much less duck and rabbit consumed, which means much less was processed, which means much less were raised. And so pet food companies, we typically play second fiddle to restaurants. And if they are not providing or consuming rabbit and duck, then that means there's less left over for us. So as we continue to work with our suppliers, it's just been more and more difficult, and prices on some of those ingredients were close to double, triple what they were a year ago. And it just did not make sense for us to continue pursuing those products. So we had to make a tough decision to hit the discontinue button on both of those items. Now, we are not out of grain-free rabbit, and we're not out of grain-free duck. We still have some in stock. And what we want to do is we don't want to leave you empty-handed. So we do have a buy one, get one sale going right now so that you can load up if that's something that you were depending on for your dog while we try and figure out the next best option for you. The coupon code for the grain-free rabbit is BuyBuyRabbit. And so you put one in if you put one in your cart and you type in the coupon code BuyBuyRabbit, it will automatically add another one for you as you go through the checkout process. Now,
And that's true for 25 and 5 pound?
25 and 5 pound bags. So you can get as many of those as you want. If you're feeding duck, I'll let you guess what that coupon code could possibly be. We've got Bye Bye Rabbit.
For rabbit.
Yeah, what do you think it is for duck, Eddie?
For duck?
Yeah.
So long duck?
Oh my gosh.
Duck,
Almost.
duck, goose.
Almost.
Duck, duck, goose? That would have been a great one.
Man.
Oh my gosh. No, that's not
No, that's no, not it.
Duck, duck, gone.
Bye Bye Duck. So-
Peking duck?
Yeah.
No.
Bye Bye Rabbit, Bye Bye Duck. Now, if you're someone like Melissa here, who had a dog finally stabilized feeding one of those recipes, Melissa, you reach out to us and we're going to work with you on getting you on another recipe, another product, another formula. Maybe it's a different grain-free diet with different customizations. We will work with you. We will help you find a product that will take care of you. We've got time. You'll have time, especially with the buy one, get one free offer that'll allow you to build up a few months worth of food if you want to. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us. We can do one-on-one consultations with you. We'll help you get into the right product. We have a list. We did send out an email. There's an email coming. So if you're watching this, you get first notice to all specials, as always. Emails will be going out in the next 4 or 5 hours, kind of letting the rest of everyone know that we do have an end to those product lines coming. But reach out to us. We'll talk to you. We'll help you get through this. We did make some recommendations in that email on other good alternatives. Now, this isn't forever. So, ideally things level off, we open back up, and, we're able to find those proteins at a reasonable price again, because we're not here to sell $300 bags of dog food. That's not good for anybody. Is Chad?
Chad wouldn't mind.
No, I don't think Chad wants to either. So
No,
Chad's
it's not fun rounding up all the rabbits.
Yeah. Chad's in constant communication with our suppliers, and so he'll be working with them. And when we get a heads up or a notice that, hey, that this has become, in fact, become reasonable again, then we will absolutely look at putting those back in. But for now, we are going to be eliminating those 2 product lines.
Hey, someone was asking me, what's the shelf life on the rabbit and the duck?
The shelf life on those foods is 12 months from manufacturing date. If you have a dog that's very dependent on them, though, and you're trying to stock up, you can always stick it in a freezer. That should extend the shelf life by probably, 5-6 months, Chad?
Yes.
At least. If you put it in an
Yeah.
airtight Ziploc bag, then it could last for 2 years in the freezer. It's all about how quick you get it in there and if it's airtight or not. So not something we wanted to do, because we like having those options ourselves. It was not moving in our favor, and sometimes all you can do is all you can do, and we had hit that point. So bear with us. We will try and come up with suitable alternatives as quickly as possible. To a different, it looks like Chad has some large breed there. So Wayne, if you're still reaching. Yeah, that's a significant difference in kibble size, Wayne. It's probably 12 of those little kibbles equal 1 large breed, Chad?
Yeah, probably somewhere right around in there.
Okay. So that a dog can't swallow it. They have to chew it. So I would highly recommend considering looking for that.
Yep.
Those make great treats too. Training treats. They're so big, so nice. Just throw them in your pocket.
Absolutely. And then other news, Chad, why don't you bust one of them elk patties out?
You want me to bust one of these elk patties out?
Yeah, let's show those off, because those are also going to be 30% off.
Well, if I'd have known that, I wouldn't have given 2 of them away.
Jose, back. Those are elk patties. So that is 100% open range elk. And look at that. He's eating it. If he eats the whole thing, we'll change the discount code to 40.
Hey, it's man versus dog food. Somebody's got to step up and eat some dog food.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to eat a whole one of those patties.
Or go get a water.
Yeah, maybe 2. Hey, Lisa's excited, but you're eating her dog's oat patties, Chad. So look at he's still chewing. Oat patties 30% off, maximum of 3. The coupon code is I want elk. So,
Man,
patties for the
who's
win.
running our coupons? Is that the promotions department? They almost need a raise. Those are like hacker worthy right there.
You know, I've been really working on my copywriting skills lately. I've listened to 1.5 podcasts. It's been super helpful.
You stayed at a Holiday Inn.
Stayed at a Holiday Inn a few months ago.
I'd get your money back on the Holiday Inn.
Somebody wants some help.
I think those dogs really love those elk patties.
Richard thinks you have it in you. Richard thinks you can do it.
Yeah. I don't think
I personally believe in you as well.
Do what?
I said I believe in you as well.
Yeah.
And we know Jose does.
He's welcoming you back, Mitch.
Yes,
Apparently
he is.
he missed you.
What can we get for our dog that has allergies to chicken with the good grains in it? Well, Lisa, my personal favorite is our Ancient Grains ocean fish. It was by far my favorite when I was eating the dog food. It is our top seller, no contest, especially for dogs that have allergies with chicken. It's got the good grains in it because we grow those ourselves. We've got millet, we've got sorghum.
And Annette agrees with you.
And Annette agrees with us. So highly, highly recommend the Ancient Grains ocean fish. If I had a dog with a sensitive stomach, I'd probably look at adding the beef collagen to it, which don't be surprised if the words beef collagen get changed to bone broth on our website. So that is something that we've been asked to modify per our wonderful regulatory bodies. They've asked us to change that term. And then coconut oil, we're also going to change to MCT oil. So we upgraded our coconut oil to pure MCT oil derived from coconuts about 3 or 4 months ago. And so it's 100% MCT oil, which is added benefits from the omega-9s. Now, just some advice on, what I think if I was feeding my dog the grain-free duck beforehand, what I would probably consider like the closest food to that is going to be our grain-free chicken and turkey. Very, very similar. It's still a bird-based protein, same protein, same fat level. If you're feeding the grain-free rabbit, our grain-free salmon is going to be the next best option for you. And so, the grain-free rabbit that we currently have, it does have fish in it. And so it's not going to be, if your dog is doing well on it, the fish is probably something your dog is okay with. So highly recommend the grain-free salmon if you're currently on the grain-free rabbit. But first, go get you some BOGOs. Save half off on the food and get loaded up. We've got some other alternatives as well. If you wanted to do grain inclusive, our Ancient Grains ocean fish is just amazing. Even Cindy agrees. The Perfect Balance grain-free whitefish is another alternative if you're looking for a grain-free option that does not have any chicken in it. So those are kind of the options that we would have.
Mitch. And
grain-free pork. We do have a grain-free pork as well. Absolutely. So, Chad, what's happening tomorrow? Anything
tomorrow?
Big?
Well,
are you feeling like a heavy weight on your shoulders?
I'm feeling pretty heavy. We've got a new piece of machinery coming.
We do.
We do.
What is it?
Another freeze dryer rolling through the doors.
Man, I might have to get there and film some lives and show you unloading that thing. Can you get it you need help, or can you get it by yourself?
Well, you got to lift with your legs, not with your back.
With your legs. What do they weigh? Like how many thousands of pounds?
The freeze dryer itself weighs about 32,000 pounds.
32,000 pounds. And then you add all the carts and everything into it. Is it a little heavier?
Yeah. Then we're pushing close to almost 38,000 pounds worth of just stainless steel.
Man, Okay. Well,
And then by the time you get the outdoor unit on there, this is not your regular house outdoor unit. This is an 8,000 pound. Let's see, 8,000 pounds and 80 horsepower worth of Freon pushing unit.
it's almost 50,000 pounds of equipment to make 600 pounds of food at a time.
I know it's great, ain't it?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It is.
Well, fortunately, the good news is those products are super energy efficient.
Yes.
It's great. They produce a product that lasts for over 2 years. And it's going to be not 107 degrees tomorrow, so the forklift won't sink in the street like it did 4 years ago.
Nope, we won't sink it in the street.
Yeah. Well, we got a question here. Cindy asks, what food is weight management? Well, Cindy, the good news is almost any food can be weight management. It's really about how much you feed. The Munster kibble, as a whole, we don't cook them as long or as at a high as the temperature as what most companies do, so we don't quite have the same expansion as them. So you actually get more food in a cup than what any other company does, probably by almost 20%. Some of them are upwards of 35% more calorically dense. So the best way to do it is to actually reduce the amount you're feeding and skip a meal every now and then. So if like anytime my dogs have gotten overweight, which I've got 3 kids, so it's not uncommon for them to start sneaking table scraps to the dogs, especially if it's something that they don't like to eat. Now, that's very rare because I'm an excellent cook, but on occasion, there's some stuff that they don't like, and they will feed the dog.
Be careful on treats, too. I don't know if you're feeding a lot of treats or not, but if they're not Munster freeze-dried treats, you might consider switching over to our freeze-dried treats because it'll be a lot better.
Dog food bags, the feeding recommendations on them are as if that was all you were feeding your dog. So anytime you start giving your dog treats, you have to back away what you're feeding them from a food standpoint. It's that you're the best judge on how much to feed the dog. A lot of the weight loss foods that you see out there, all they are is a marketing gimmick. They cheapen the formula up and they put more carbs in to try and call it lower calorie. And most of the time it's junk, and then they charge more because they call it weight loss. And so what happens is it just kind of fills your dog's stomach up, but it's a bunch of kind of junk calories. And in reality, if you really want to get aggressive with weight loss, the best thing to do is go straight freeze-dried for about a month, because there's 0 carbohydrates in it. You don't have the insulin dumps. You don't have the sugar turning into fat. It doesn't stop the body from turning fat into energy. Freeze-dried is by far the best way to help the dog lose weight, and it happens quickly too.
And if you can't do all freeze-dried, then a lot of times I've done for Abby, regular kibble in the morning and freeze-dried at night.
Yeah, so you just
split it up.
Throw a patty down for 1 meal and then some kibble for the rest and some freeze-dried treats throughout the day, and it doesn't take long for that dog to lose weight. I feed grain-free salmon. My one dog has issues with yeast. Can I add anything to the food? So, yeah, George, one of the things I would consider if your dog's having yeast issues, a lot of times that can be traced back to a bacterial yeast infection in the stomach. And one of the best things you can do is actually starve that out. And again, we keep going back to freeze-dried. It's because it's such a great product, but yeast thrives on carbohydrates and sugar. Sugar is what feeds yeast and helps it grow. So if we go to straight freeze-dried for about a month, it'll actually starve that yeast out and kill it off, and then you can start reintroducing kibble again.
And then when you do that, you might try the custom and adding probiotics.
Mm-hmm.
Or
beef collagen is also helpful.
If you're not, ready to starve them out, and you just kind of like, I can't stand to see my dog do that, get some Dr. Verweer's digestive aid.
Yeah, and if it's yeast in the ears, one good thing to do is buy a yeast wash, because you still have to eliminate it out of the ear. You can't just take care of it in the stomach. You've got to get it out of there first. So you've got to clean it out of everything. You've got to completely purge it from the dog system. I don't know the best brand. I know there's several out there that they're all pretty cheap. You just have to be pretty consistent about using it and then kind of continue using it long term. How long does this take a freeze dryer to do one batch? That sounds like a Chad question.
That is a Chad question.
So it depends on the product, but anywhere from 18 to 24 hours. So on the freeze dryer, we're loading about 3,000 pounds of raw meat into a freeze dryer, and we take out about 2,000 pounds of ice.
Very cool.
Yep. And so in summertime, we've got one heck of a snow cone stand.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the stuff you get a lot less out, like chicken liver, right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's some stuff you put 3,000 pounds in and you only get like 500 pounds out. So.
And Jose's got a recommendation. Jose's been a long-time Munster fan. He does ancient grains, whitefish with salmon oil and beef collagen and probiotics. And every other day he adds some beef bites. Wonderful coat. Dogs are all doing great, worth the money. And if you do it on promo codes, you can save any more. So I would highly recommend taking Jose Gonzalez's advice. He's one of the best dog dads we have, for sure.
Absolutely.
Raul, are the beef bites and chicken liver good for my puppy? Yeah, they are. The only thing you want to be careful of, Raul, is you don't want to overdo it on the chicken liver. So it's a really, really, really good treat. But it's like eating too much of chocolate for you, right? 5, 6, 7 pieces at a time, no problem. You start giving handfuls and handfuls and handfuls. Liver is very, very nutrient dense, has tons and tons of vitamins in it. And so I can't remember which vitamin you could possibly overdo it with. I think it's vitamin A. You could have a vitamin A toxicity issue if you gave like the whole container of chicken liver several days in a row. It's not something that happens like that, but you do have to be careful. So a really good question. The beef bites all day long, as much as the dog wants, just dial back the food when you feed those.
Yeah, because our beef bites are complete and balanced, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
they are. Mercy is poo-pooing beef bites, but the cats are nuts about them. Well, Sarah, the first thing you have to do is we got to replace Mercy.
I want to be clear on what poo-pooing is. I mean, literally poo-pooing or poo-pooing?
I think the dog is just saying, meh.
Okay.
There's some people that don't like Chick-fil-A sauce either, Sarah. We can't save them all. I don't know what's wrong with those people. But maybe try chicken. But you put venison elk in front of her, and she is a piggy dog. I like Sarah's strategy as a copywriter. She's on point.
Yes, she is.
Melissa's dogs are addicted to the chicken bites. That is fantastic news, which we've got a new chicken bite form we're working on. We should have that out in a few months.
Yep.
We're going to go to more of a round form, like a little sphere.
Yeah.
It should help them hold together more. So we'll probably be consolidating the patties into the bites as well. So the fewer, they're the same recipe right now, just different form. And we sell probably 4-to-1 bites versus patties, Chad?
Yeah, 4-to-1 on the bites versus patties.
This makes way more sense. So we'll be moving in that direction.
Yep.
She'll walk away and glare from the couch. Mercy is pumpkin spice addicted. Well, I guess we're only like 6 months away from pumpkin spice coming back out, aren't we?
Yeah.
Man, it's time to start prepping for that one, I guess, huh?
It is. I'll be here. Are we doing freedom meatballs?
Do you want to do some freedom meatballs?
Heck yeah, we do. Well, let's ask the people if they want freedom meatballs. We were thinking about coming up with like a 4th of July.
Well, that's a good question. If you like the seasonal flavors, like pumpkin spice in the fall, what would be a good seasonal flavor some other time during the year, like in the spring or the 4th of July freedom meatballs?
We were thinking freedom meatballs. Put some brisket in there, maybe some. What else would we put? Bacon for sure. Some rib roast.
Bacon.
All kinds of good stuff. Sarah says yes to freedom.
Meat lovers.
Tastes like freedom.
It tastes like freedom.
Yeah,
that is it.
That's the tagline on it. I can see it now.
Sarah, you're hired.
You are hired. Tastes like freedom.
Margarita.
That's Kinley. Kinley works in the front office. She is awesome.
So what would maybe like just a little bit of lime on them?
Yeah, right.
I don't know if dogs would like the acid, but they last forever, right? We could do some agave. No, I lost Chad. He didn't like that. Kinley, I'm on board. I like it. Barbecue flavored.
Can
beer.
dogs do that?
No, we can't. We can't do beer, Sarah. We're a gluten-free facility, so we got to keep that out of there.
Watermelon.
Watermelon.
I'd like to see how that goes.
Well, you know,
that is one of my favorites. Love
that's watermelon's like what, 95% water?
Yeah.
It would take 17 days to freeze dry that.
Which is they come up with just watermelon seeds. That's all it is.
Watermelon seeds.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should look into the Freedom meatballs for sure.
Yep.
Tastes like freedom.
Tastes like freedom. I love it.
Maybe we'll even eat them for a week.
I could eat those. You guys could work on that. Brisket, all the things you were talking about. A little barbecue flavor, a little smoke flavor.
Yeah. Barbecue rib flavor.
Oh.
Better than
it's like the McRib.
More real meat than the McRib.
That's exactly.
I was thinking about McRib.
How about cider then? There we go. Cider's not a bad idea. Here, hey, what do we got here?
Along here.
Have you thought about doing tripe? One of my girls has gotten really picky about eating. I've started adding tripe to her ancient grains and ocean fish and has gotten much better about eating her kibble. So we have thought about doing tripe. Tripe is one of those things that it is difficult to get, especially when meat processors are still catching up. We do have tripe as one of the ingredients in the beef bites. If you want to send us an email, Mindy, I do know someone coming out with a tripe treat that we work with, and I'd be happy to refer you their way if you're looking for a place to find it. So if you want to shoot us an email, mitch@munstermilling.com, I'll get that information over to you. Peach barbecue.
I think that's someone from the South right there.
Yeah, if I didn't hate peaches with every ounce of my being, I know.
What are you, crazy?
I probably
slap him.
So, Aubrey and I drink a Sleepy Time tea at night.
Yeah.
It's a Celestial tea brand.
Right.
And, we had to break that drinking streak that COVID started, where you're having a glass of wine every night at 7. We switched to tea. And we had been doing this like cinnamon vanilla one for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. And all of a sudden the other day she switched to peach because she loves peaches.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to drink any tea last night.
Well, Mitch, just because you put Fireball in the tea doesn't mean you've changed.
It didn't make it better.
It doesn't make it better. Mesquite
smoked. Now we're getting there. I like it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll smoke all the freeze-dried meatballs for a little bit, huh?
There you go.
Add some real smoke flavor to them.
Maybe that'd be a time for another 30 days of dog food.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe so.
Man, Mitch, I'm still picking elk bones out of my teeth.
Yeah, no, I have a chipped tooth from one of them that we got with the antler mix in it.
Yeah.
The trial product we did that we didn't actually end up selling because I chipped a tooth. I still need to get it fixed. If we have a dentist on here, let me know where you are. Green tripe is great. My pregnant picky moms will never turn it down. Perfect. Thank you, Mindy. We had a question the other day, Eddie. What was it? We were going to ask for some help on. Do you remember we were trying to figure out the what was it?
Needs?
Yeah. It was on the customizations.
Yeah.
We were trying to figure out what the next customization should be.
Oh.
Like what everybody wants. Like, are they doing it for more functional? Or are they doing it for flavor? Are they doing it because they're trying to lower carbohydrates? Or are they doing it like we're trying to kind of expand that program a little bit? And so we would love to know what everybody wants to see us add. That would be kind of cool. So watch your email. We'll probably send you a survey here in the next couple of weeks to gather some information. And look at that. Powdered egg. That's a good idea. Chad, you know where we get powdered egg?
Yep. We can get powdered egg.
Okay. I wonder if that powdered egg, it has the eggshell membrane in it.
What would powdered egg be good for?
Well, it's the most pure form of protein, but if we can find the stuff with the eggshell membrane, and it's like the best thing you can do for joints. It's really, really good for joints.
What?
Yeah.
We have another vote for powdered egg.
Oh man,
I feel it.
I feel an eggs and bacon. We got eggs and bacon combo.
Eggs and bacon, yes. Powdered egg and bacon fat. I love it. Chad for the W. So, Cindy, we would love to do hemp, but the state of Texas will not allow that. But we do have hemp oil, so you can add that yourself. Protein, joints, and hips. Yep. Eggshell is also good for calcium. We have the smartest customers ever.
They're on point today for sure.
They are on point. And thank you for the large breed, she says, Chad.
There you go.
Her mom's get an egg every day. We
There
mix
we go.
apples with all 6 of our dog foods. That's a good idea too. Just make sure you remove the seeds, right?
Right.
Okay. Lamb or poultry-free large breed. So poultry-free large breed is something that we have heard some people asking for, Amber. We are looking at that constantly. So we'll continue to get feedback on that for sure. What else we got?
Well, what are the specials again? So we got Buy Rabbit, buy one, get one free rabbit.
Buy rabbit, buy one, get one free. Should I put that in
As
here?
long as it lasts, right? Because we are saying bye-bye to it for a little while, for now. And buy duck.
I feel like, what was it, the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC? You should have that video going, Eddie, and you do the dance, you know?
You need to do a TikTok.
Bye rabbit.
Yeah.
Which bye rabbit is one of the most odd looking words that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
You'll see it in the comments here in a second.
Buyer.
We got a few more questions coming, and we'll answer those too.
How much food should a 77-pound dog eat to weigh 65 pounds a day?
My dog weighs 77 pounds, but should be 65. How much should I feed my dog? So the answer to that is just enough. When if your dog's 10, 12 pounds overweight, one of the best things that you can do on the short term, Corey, is to actually let the dog fast a little bit. So like 3 days a week, just pull the food all together for either the morning or the evening if you're feeding twice, or cut the amount in half. The goal is to get to 65 pounds. So skipping a meal, skipping 2 meals, not going to hurt it at all. It's actually going to help it. Dogs constantly have stuff moving through their digestive tract. And if we can pull some of that food out and let your digestive system have a chance to rest, it's actually going to make it more efficient moving forward as well. And so I would say probably start by removing, if you don't want to skip meals, I would back off how much you're feeding your dog by about 30% per day. And Eddie made a really good point earlier on, if you're feeding treats, you need to be reducing how much you feed the dog, because all of that goes towards calories in versus calories out. So I would totally 100% recommend, skipping, a meal probably 3 days a week if you can, while also reducing the food. But if you can't do that, I would reduce the amount of food you're feeding by about 30% until you get it to that weight that you want it to be at. And then you can kind of modify from there. Just remember the feeding directions on the bag. Those are recommendations, and we're forced to put those recommendations there by AAFCO and the FDA, because they require us to suggest a certain amount of calories per dog's body weight. And every single dog is different. They're not all the same, just like we're not all the same. We all have that one friend that can eat 19 cheeseburgers and not gain a pound.
Not me.
Not Eddie. so
Eddie, you got to do more push-ups.
More push-ups. We don't treat those people the same. We can't treat the dogs the same. You have to treat your dog, feed it individually what it needs to be. So that's the way I would go about it.
But, like you said, our customers are pretty smart too. And Leslie mentioned that there's also the exercise in it. Make sure that you're getting your dog out, take him for a couple more walks. And then Sarah was saying add a little water.
Yep.
2.
Absolutely. Awesome. She's going to try fasting her. Would love to see a special formula for the females while they're pregnant. So we are working on that. That's part of what the customizations are for. And we're actually working on a topper that will have some colostrum in it and some different higher levels of zinc. And Chad and Luis, is Luis up there?
No, Luis is not. He's camera shy.
So we've got Luis. He's been working for probably about 90 days now on a flaxseed-free recipe that is going to be ideal for pregnant and nursing dogs. So that would also have the colostrum in it. So we are working on it 100%. It's a great idea. What's good for the gander is good for the goose. 100%.
Not sure where that one goes with.
Me too, Eddie. I was kind of lost.
Yeah, Cindy, just tell them it's like Peter Pan style.
Just don't go to sleep
when you
put them on a diet.
Yes. I have a 5-month-old Belgian Malinois, 43 pounds. I currently feed ancient grains ocean fish 3 times a day, 1 cup per feeding, but she still seems hungry. So I'm not surprised by that at all, Casey. That is an active dog. It's got about 90 times the energy of like a golden retriever. Like they never stop moving and they burn. So you have to feed the dog. I would.
Yeah, this is like Phelps, the swimmer. I mean, he was putting away tons of calories when he was in the Olympics and everything. And if your dog is very, very active and pretty athletic, then they're gonna burn through that and they're gonna need it to keep that going. Yeah. But when he stops swimming, you got to cut back.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, any other questions?
Mitch, I got to get this order packed and out the door, man.
All right, man. We'll see you.
All right. Bye, everybody.
All right. Chad is gone. He is getting to work. Christy, need a small breed formula. So, Christy, I would love to learn more about that and see if that's something like a kibble size or if it's just a more of a nutrient size, because most of our foods, higher protein, higher fat, and we do use a smaller kibble. I can't talk for some reason today. Ow now, brown cow. We typically use a smaller kibble so that the smaller breed dogs can do well on it. Our coated kibble project is honestly going to be really, really good for small breeds. If you haven't checked it out, it's got a ton of extra protein on it, all on the outside of the kibble, much more flavorful. The smaller breeds are definitely a little pickier as well. So highly recommend you check one of those out. Back to Leslie's, yes, Malinois, they need more calories because that brain is always working. So they need tons and tons of calories. The best advice I'd give on that would be to start adding some more fat to that dog's diet. The Malinois that's having trouble gaining weight, that's where you could crack an egg over it, or you could add some meal toppers, get some of these elk patties that are 30% off and throw an extra elk patty in it every day. Really just trying to get a few extra calories in there. So all that will help. We got a lot of good recommendations coming in from some of the users here. Also use our food for training in between feedings. So if you're also training the dog too, I wouldn't be surprised if that dog needs twice as much as a normal dog, if not 3 times. And that'll level off as they get older too. Need something to gain weight on one of my dogs. We just rescued around 20 pounds underweight. I would recommend probably one of our grain-free diets, higher protein, higher fats, a 34-20. The salmon's a really good one. Tons of omega-3s, which is great for dogs that are way underweight, especially coming out of a rescue. And I would recommend adding the probiotics to that as well. Yes, Christy, we do have several options without peas in it. So we've got our Ancient Grains line, 100% pea-free. And then we've got the Perfect Balance Ancient Grains line that are also pea-free. My agility boy is always seeming hungry until we switch to higher protein and higher fat foods. That's 100% right. That's where the nutrition is. Yes, like a 30-20. So our Ancient Grains chicken and pork meal is a 31, 20 or 21. Can't remember right offhand. It's going to be one of the higher fat, higher protein foods. Hi, Christy. Munster gear, decals, shirts, hats, beanies. I don't disagree. So Eddie's working on that. We got shirts rolling out here soon, right?
We got shirts. We just got to figure out how to get them online selling.
We do. We are.
So one of the things is we got to create item numbers, get them in the system, and all that stuff. But yeah, we got shirts.
We got shirts.
And once we get that, stuff and things.
Bacon fat. Yes, bacon fat's a great additive to the food. It is, one, it tastes amazing. Two, it smells good. But three, it will add quite a few calories. Marketing materials, yes, we'll get some of those out. Ancient Grains, chicken and pork with salmon oil and some coated kibble. That is a lucky dog.
Yeah.
That is a lucky dog. Because when I ate dog,
is that for putting on weight?
When I ate dog food for a month, we didn't have coated kibble.
That's right.
I think we barely had bacon fat. I think we were kind of playing around with it. I stay away from chicken. You know, I do too. We do have a pork option, so we're a ruminant-free plant. We don't have any beef in. We do chicken, we do fish, and we do pork. Freeze-dried, we do beef, so you can get all the beef you want. She has an allergy to chicken. Come on, Eddie, give the people what they want.
I know, right? I'm working it.
Put your jokes on the shirt. See, Sarah? Now I have a platform. Now we gotta get the jokes on the shirts.
There you go.
We may have to have a survey on what everyone's favorite joke is, right? So what to do that? I like the whole what do you call a dog with no arms and no legs? Did anyone hear that earlier, or do we have a whole new audience? So what do you call a dog with no arms and no legs? Really, I think it's just no legs, right? You don't call them arms.
Well, they still don't have any arms.
You don't call them anything. It doesn't matter. They can't come. Haha, oh, no.
You're right, exactly.
Do you have a supplement?
Maybe the best joke would be just to put our faces on the T-shirt.
At least yours, right? Hang on. Now we're ready for it.
There you go.
Do you have a supplement for a dog with autoimmune issues? She has a sensitive system and cannot get shots due to her body attacking itself. So this is where I would 100% recommend going straight freeze-dried. If you go straight freeze-dried, Corey, it's only meat, it's only protein, it's only fat. So a lot of times, and we have our first fire truck of the day passing.
Well, that's pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty, but they're loud here.
Yeah.
So autoimmune issues typically are triggered by something called leaky gut. And what happens is the gut should be nice and tight like this. And what will happen is if at some point they have an autoimmune issue or they weren't fed well, typically you see this a lot in rescue dogs because those dogs are rescued out of, pretty dire conditions sometimes. And their intestinal lining will start to stretch and get thin, and you'll see little holes like that. Well, that allows some of the nutrients to actually go through the intestinal wall and enter the bloodstream. And what happens is the body sets that off as an invader, as something that they need to fight against, and they flag it as an allergen for the rest of that dog's life. So, what you have to do at that point is rebuild that intestinal wall first. So you want to feed something that's got a lot of zinc in it because that's going to help build the integrity of the intestines. You want to add probiotics. Something like bone broth will help a lot too. So that's where our beef collagen is super helpful. But if you're doing straight freeze-dried and it's only meat and only fat, it's a lot harder for that to cause an autoimmune response because there's less inflammation when you're just feeding meat and protein or protein and fat. So if you're not causing inflammation, you actually allow that intestinal wall to have a chance to kind of relax and start rebuilding on itself. And then before you know it, it'll be perfect again. So this is something that my wife and actually went through several years ago. So we've got a little bit of knowledge on that. How do you calculate the food to the weight so she doesn't get more overweight? So really what you have to do there is just watch the dog. Was it 65 pounds is what we wanted that dog to weigh? Do I remember that correctly? So that would be like basically a pound a day of raw meat. And if we're looking at the freeze-dried form of that, probably about 1/3 of a pound of freeze-dried per day would get you where you want to go. You could spread it out. You could feed it all at once, but you just have to watch the dog. And if it starts to get heavy, you just feed less. That's really all there is to it. If you look at people, there's a billion diet plans out there, like a ton of them. All of them can work depending on how they're used. At the end of the day, most of the time, what it comes down to is calories in versus calories out. So, I would highly recommend just switching to a freeze-dried raw diet for about a month. And a lot of times you can fix the leaky gut and you'll see some of those autoimmune issues go away. And then you can start reintroducing one of our more allergen-friendly foods. You need a lot of room for my big head to get on the shirt.
Chad in there.
I know, right? It depends on how big his beard is at the time that we do the caricature, right? We have to be very careful. And then Allie's going one in too.
Yeah.
So
maybe just get rid of all three of us and put her on it.
Yep. Sarah's got some really good advice here. So if you do
maybe we should have Sarah on the show.
Maybe we should. She could just run the show.
I know.
So if you're going to do freeze dried, that is one thing that you will want to be aware of is you need to add more water because carbohydrates hold water for the dog. I think every gram of carbohydrates will hold 4 grams of water. And so when you move them to a freeze dried, there will be an initial moment of flushing. They'll lose probably 3 to 4% of their body weight in water alone within the first 7 to 8 days. And then you can reconstitute the food in water, let it sit in water. It'll soak it up. It's great for the dog as well. I would, consider trying it with our freeze-dried elk that we currently have on sale right now at 30% off with coupon code IWANTELK. Or send me an email, mitch@munstermilling.com. And what I'll do is get you in touch with Aubrey. She's been doing a lot of the consultations with people that have dogs that have kind of some trickier issues because she had some of those issues herself, understands it well, and she can help get you on a meal plan that'll get you where you want to go. Let's see. Perfect. Thank you. And yes, she gets 2 meals because she gets sick if she only eats. Yep, that does happen from time to time. There are different dogs that have different issues. One of the things you could consider adding, Corey, is some apple cider vinegar. A lot of times the dogs will get off balance on how much acid they're producing in their stomach. And so if that happens, it can cause them to get sick if they're not being fed, or it can actually give them trouble digesting food when we do feed them. So I would recommend maybe adding like a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar before feeding. You need to bump up her mobility at a slow pace as well. 10 is easy to drop. You'll do great. Yep, I agree with that.
Until you're my age, and then 10's really hard to drop.
Yep. All right, we had a dog blow out her CCL, so I ordered a hip and joint, probably ACL. Yes, that'll help a lot. Cindy, give it about 2 weeks to kick in fully. My dog, it was like 3 days, and it was working. The CBD oil that we have in there is just amazing. Makes a tremendous, tremendous difference in the dog. The glucosamine joint level we have in there is pretty high as well. And a lot of people have been recommending adding eggs to the food, so you may look into that too. How many elk patties would you recommend per day for a 100-pound GST? 100 pounds, you're going to need about 2 pounds a day if it was raw food. So you're around about 0.8 pounds, which is about 14 ounces, which would be almost a whole bag of elk patties, is what that dog would end up needing, because that is a big dog. I'm trying to think if there's another option to get them where they need to go. I think that's going to be the best. Yeah, you're going to need to feed almost 14 ounces of elk patties, which is about what's in our bag. They actually have about 16 ounces in it. We always have to put a lower number than what's in the bag because we have to over-deliver. We can't under-deliver. That would be stealing from you if we did so. So we got to stay kosher. Other topper option, ACV powder. Sarah, I have no idea what ACV is, so I'm going to plead ignorance. You can let me know what that is, and we'll be happy to look at it. What else do we have? Any other questions? or have we made it through them?
There's been a lot of good questions and a lot of great answers. A lot of help from the audience today.
Yes, absolutely. Apple cider vinegar. Yes. So we have apple cider vinegar, Sarah, in our digestive topper. So if you get the Dr. Verwares, we have apple cider vinegar in that meal topper. Huge believer in it. Love what it does for the dog. And our digestive meal topper is getting an upgrade here in, I want to say, about 5 or 6 weeks. We have a new, much like a better, more powerful probiotic that we'll be adding to it. So should see some really, really good benefits from that. So all in all, I would say this was a very thorough, awesome episode of Man versus Dog Food.
It's a win.
Oh, look who showed up at the last second. Maligator Mom. Hey, Maligator Mom. We had someone earlier. They've got a Malinois that's 43 pounds. They're feeding it 3 times a day, 1 cup each feeding, and using the food as kind of treats between. They're feeding the ancient grains ocean fish, which I know you're feeding, and they would love to add some more.
The dog's still hungry.
They'd like to add weight to the dog.
Well, the dog's still hungry after all that he eats.
The dog is still hungry. So if you have any advice, we'd love to hear it. Maligator Mom is an expert on Malinois and does a lot of training, provides a lot of really, really good content on how to train dogs, especially for protection. And she could probably have some really good insight for us. So we'll hang on a second and see if she can add anything to it. I think, who was that was having the question about the Malinois? It was up here a little higher.
Find it?
Almost. Where did it go? I know we have it on here.
Right here.
Did you find it?
What?
Nope.
No.
No, that's Corey. I think we got Corey straightened out. Sarah says this Freedom Bite should also have ACV cider. Yes, I like that. Yes, Casey. So Casey, if you're still watching, highly recommend getting in touch with Maligator Mom. You can find her on Instagram. I'm sure she's on Facebook too. She's commenting here on YouTube. She's got a great YouTube channel that you can check out, and she's also what I would say she's pretty TikTok famous too. So you can check her out on TikTok. She put Raul on the food. Heck yeah. So Maligator Mom, if you're watching, if you can reach out to Casey, he could probably use a little bit of help. I know she's getting the ancient grains ocean fish, and I think we're adding salmon oil and beef collagen to it, if I remember correctly. So I know we're adding a little bit of extra fat and protein to her food. Speaking of training, your kibble size is perfect for using in the Mind Manners remote treat system. I've got some. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that feedback, Melissa. We really appreciate it. And Casey, if you don't hear from Maligator Mom, shoot us a note and we will get you connected, because she has just got a wealth of information and is very highly respected in the Malinois community, and I think other dog communities too. So that being said, I got to go home for second shift here pretty quick.
I got to go help them with those commercial stuff.
So everyone, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great afternoon, and we'll see you next week. I will be in Alabama.
I'll be here.